Welcome technicians. Today we look into how to do calibration in our Cobas C311 instrument. So do remember that for doing calibration in this instrument, there is no need that instrument should be in the standby. Even in sampling stop also we can do calibration. So you just have to go to calibration, then status, and the moment you go, so this is how it looks appears like. Now immediately the everything will be in terms of position, like first I would like that in an ascending position it will be wherever the reagents are present. So this is the reagents that are present, and this is current, means these are all the reagents that are already running in the instrument, means tests are being done in this instrument, in this reagent. So this is a lot type of calibration which these reagents have passed. And you go to the cost, so immediately it will tell whatever the are the reagents where mandatory calibrations are present. So whenever this red symbol is there, it indicates that there is a mandatory calibration required. That means if calibration is not done for that particular reagent, no test will be done from that reagent. So as you know, in the night time itself we add one more reagent when the particular reagent tests are very less. So during that time, if a mandatory calibration is there and if it is not given, so what is going to happen is in between the day the reagent will run out and the instrument will not do any further test from the reagent that you have already kept. So it is very important that that particular calibration is taken care of, okay, in the night itself. So all calibrations has to be done in the night itself, so it should not be left for the daytime. So while selecting how to do the calibration is a little tricky, so you need to learn that exactly. So for example, I have taken this another one. So here as you can see, there is something called a timeout calibration. Every time there will be some reagents which have completed their time, a particular date which the manufacturer has set it. So for that particular time, after that it will ask for a timeout calibration. So whenever quality controls are okay, we normally don't give the timeout calibrations. But important is, if it is a mandatory calibration, this red symbol will be there. If it is not, then you have to select it. Like how exactly to make it select is little tricky, so you need to learn. So first and the foremost thing, if you think that okay, I have selected HBW3, and if you put save, it is not like the HBW3 which is getting selected. Actually what is going to happen is everything will get selected like this. Okay, so it's important that you need to remove those timeout calibrations first and then select whatever is required. For example, let us say that I want to do calibration for glucose. Let us say that for the time being that it is in red color, so I want to do it. So what you need to do is you need to remove these. See, for example, it is selected, you can see that this 2 point is on, so you have to select this and select the 2 point. The moment you do that, see, immediately this timeout is gone for this particular. So again same for HBW3. So you use the A1W3, you select it, click on the full, see this is gone. Same thing with HBW3. Like this you have to remove those timeout calibrations, that ash color that is present here, and then you put the save. So then what is going to happen, only that glucose it is getting the instrument has accepted for calibrations. Others, even though ash color has come out, the instrument is not going to do calibration. Okay, so it is going to now accept calibration only for glucose, right? Now important thing is it is CFAS means Cobas C311 instrument. Multi calibrators may also be present, or single parameter single calibrator may also be present. So exactly which calibrator to use for which reagent becomes little tricky. So you don't have to memorize or by heart which calibrator for what and all. You just have to go to install. So the moment you go to install, you look for water. Okay, so water, if there is a 0 or 0.0 or 0.00 like that number is present for that particular reagent, that means water is required for calibration. Okay, so you look for that. So since we are doing it for now glucose, let us see whether for glucose any zero number is there. So zero number is there, so that means we need water for one of the calibrator, that is the standard one is water. Okay, now we need to check what is the standard 2 that is present. So in these parameters where glucose is there and where glucose has a value, that we have to check. So let us say with CFAS. Okay, so when you click on this, you can see that in glucose this 198 value is present. So that means we need CFAS to calibrate the glucose. So if you look into others, like CFAS lipid, see there is no glucose value in this. So you go to ammonia also, see, as you can see, there is no only for ammonia there is a this thing is present. So since CFAS proteins, only C3, CRP and C4 is present. So like that, so you have to go to when water has got a zero value and the calibrator for which the value is present for the reagent, so that you need to select. Okay, now very important thing here is you have to check for this lot number also. Okay, so whenever we would have prepared calibrator which we keep it in the deep freeze, so we would have written this lot number. If this lot number is different, then there will be a problem. Okay, because these values will be different but the instrument doesn't know, so the calibration may fail. So for that purpose you have to check. See, for example, this is CFAS, so the lot number is 539944. Okay, after that 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 06 like that may be present, that is immaterial. We are more worried about 539944 like that. Okay, so you have to make sure that the calibrator lot number is same. If it is not same, then you have to download. Now for download you need instrument in standby only. Okay, without standby the download doesn't happen, but download and other things and all is my responsibility, so you don't have to worry about it, because there are always risks involved in downloading and actually doing the taking the file and all. So sometimes instrument may give a red alarm and stop. For that purpose this is always done by me only. Okay, so this is how you select and select which is the lot number that is required and we transfer. So let us not bother about it. So as you can see now in the status, we have made sure that glucose calibration we have asked, so the instrument has accepted, right? And in the install we know that we require CFAS calibrator and water has value, so we need water also. So water is required, CFAS is required, so these are all the two parameters we require, right? Two standards we require, so water for 0 standard and CFAS for the standard 2. Okay, so now we need to know where exactly to put it. Okay, so we go to the calibrator. So status ho gaya, install is done. Now calibrator, in the calibrator as you can see, CFAS is in 81th position whereas water is in 80 position. Okay, so you remember last time I had told you that in the 108 positions we have reserved some of the positions for calibration, some positions for quality control, some for emergency and some for sample, like that, right? So this 80th position is always reserved for water, whereas 81st position is for the CFAS, right? So CFAS would have been already in the deep freeze. You should take it out, allow it to thaw, and once it is liquid, so mix it well. Make sure that no bubbles are there in the bullet cup, and then you keep it in 80 position. You keep the distilled water, 81 position. You keep the CFAS, and then you give start. So like sample, how the sample is picked up, like that, CFAS also will pick up like that only. Means it will first go for a preparation. If it is in sampling stop, it will go for a sample scan. During that time it will check whether 80, 81 position, whether we have kept the required reagent or not, and then it will recheck it. After that it will do the calibration. Now again for glucose, calibration time is again 7 minutes, like how sampling time is there. So based on that it will complete it. It will be complete. If any problem in the calibration is there, then the alarm will tell. So this will be an yellow alarm only, so it will tell that calibration has failed. So you can just go to the status and check. So in this position the glucose, even the timer, everything will be gone. So it will be like how it is here. So that means the calibration has passed. Okay, or and one very important thing during this time which I want to highlight upon is please do remember that when instrument is doing calibration, in the data review nothing is shown. Okay, so some people may come and tell that come and see that, oh, everything is completed, nothing is pending, so let me go and put stop. So please don't do that, because calibration is going on. So whenever out of this thing, when you are putting instrument into the stop, ask the people who are working, so that you are sure that calibration is not going on. Okay, there is a way you can go to AU and sample checking and you can check whether calibration is going on or not. But if you don't know, please don't put the instrument into stop during that time. Okay, so what you can do, once the calibration is done, you can go to this print. So this is how it look like, and then you put it as view. Immediately the calibration, how exactly has happened, any reason for failure, like that, all the details will come. So this is CRP, where totally 6 standards are there, but usually for glucose only S1 S2 values will be there, and that will tell that it is completed, or is there any error is there. See, in this case CRP there is an error, so there is a duplication error. Okay, all those things is my responsibility, so you don't have to worry. You have to make sure that whether it is calibrated or not. So if you come here, if it is failed, then it will be again in red, and it will be here, it will be mentioned as failed. Okay, for glucose it will be in red, and it would have put it here as failed. Okay, that is how you know. Okay, so even you can go to this calibration trace, and in the calibration trace when you look at and you select glucose, so it will be here, it would have been mentioned that what is the reason for alarm would have mentioned that what is the reason for calibration failure and all. Okay, so please do remember that any calibration failure at any time of the day, even in the night also, I have to be called and informed that the calibration has failed, what next needs to be done, etc. You need to discuss with me. Okay, hope you understand. Thank you.